It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. Imagine two best friends, 19-year-olds from Melbourne, Australia, finally hitting the road for their gap-year adventure. Bianca Jones and Holly Bowles were bright, full of life, and chasing the same sunsets that thousands of other backpackers chase every single year in Southeast Asia. They landed in Vang Vieng, Laos, a place known for its stunning limestone cliffs, river tubing, and a party scene that never seems to sleep. But within just 48 hours of arriving, their dream vacation didn't just end. It turned into a terrifying international tragedy that would leave families shattered and the travel world in a state of pure shock. But here is the chilling part. They weren't the only ones, and the danger was something they never could have seen coming. They checked into the Nana Backpacker Hostel, a popular spot right in the heart of the action. Like so many others, they were there to meet people, share stories, and enjoy the freedom of being young and abroad. On a Tuesday night in mid-November, the atmosphere was high energy, and the hostel was doing what it always did to keep the guests happy, offering hospitality. But as the music played and the drinks flowed, a silent, invisible killer was being poured into small plastic cups. If you think this was just a case of too much partying, you are dead wrong. This was a calculated risk taken by someone else that cost these girls everything. The next morning, things felt off. Usually, a rough night out in Vang Vieng ends with a late breakfast and a slow recovery by the pool. But for Bianca and Holly, the hangover felt different. It wasn't just a headache or a settled stomach. It was a deep, crushing illness that they couldn't shake. When they failed to check out of their room on November 13th, the hostel staff finally went in to check on them. What they found wasn't two tired teenagers. It was a medical emergency that was spiraling out of control before their very eyes. Wait until you hear how the authorities initially reacted to this, because the delay in help is absolutely heartbreaking. Now, before I spill the tea on the specific chemical that was found in their systems and the shocking defense the hostel manager tried to use to clear his name, I need you to do one thing for me. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We cover these stories to keep travelers safe and to make sure these tragedies aren't forgotten. Seriously, hitting that button helps the algorithm push this safety warning to more people. Done? All right, let's get into the dark truth behind those free shots. The hospitality they were offered wasn't vodka at all. It was an industrial chemical that literally turns your blood into acid. The girls were rushed to a local clinic, but Vang Vieng isn't exactly equipped for a mass poisoning event. Their condition was deteriorating so fast that they had to be transported across the border into Thailand. We are talking about a grueling 150-mile journey while their organs were already beginning to shut down. By the time they reached hospitals in Udon Thani and Bangkok, they were in critical condition. It wasn't just a bad batch of alcohol, it was a lethal dose of methanol. You might know methanol as an ingredient in antifreeze or racing fuel, but in Laos, it's a cheap and deadly way to stretch a profit. Methanol is the ultimate predator for backpackers. It looks like alcohol, it smells like alcohol, and it gets you drunk just like alcohol. But while ethanol, the stuff in regular booze, is processed by your body relatively safely, methanol breaks down into formaldehyde and formic acid. It attacks the optic nerve first, which is why victims often report snowy or blurred vision before everything goes dark. Then it moves to the brain and the kidneys. The most terrifying part, you won't even know you've been poisoned until 12 to 24 hours later, when it's often too late to save you. While Bianca and Holly were fighting for their lives in Thailand, the scale of the tragedy in Vang Vieng was becoming impossible to ignore. This wasn't just about two girls. Suddenly, news broke that two Danish women in their 20s had died under mysterious circumstances. Then, an American man was confirmed dead. Then, a 28-year-old British lawyer named Simone White was hospitalized in a desperate state. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a massacre caused by a contaminated supply chain. Imagine the panic in that hostel when guests realized the free drinks they had all shared were potentially a death sentence. The investigation finally swarmed the Nana Backpacker hostel. When the police showed up, the manager, a man named Duong Duc Tuan, tried to defend himself. He told reporters that he bought his vodka from a reputable local distributor and even claimed he drank some of it himself to prove it was safe. But the police weren't looking for excuses. They were looking for bodies. He and several members of his staff were detained for questioning as the hostel was officially shuttered and turned into a crime scene. But here is the twist. Even after the arrests, the source of the poison was still out there, potentially sitting on the shelves of dozens of other bars. The Australian government, led by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, stepped in with a level of urgency rarely seen in travel cases. He called the situation every parent's nightmare and beyond sad. The Australian Federal Police were deployed to assist because this wasn't just a local issue anymore. It was an international crisis. The world wanted to know how a gap-year paradise could allow such a blatant lack of regulation to kill young tourists. The details coming out of the hospital were grim, and the families were forced to make the most difficult decisions any parent could ever face. Tragically, on November 21st, the news we all dreaded was confirmed. Bianca Jones had passed away. Her family released a statement thanking the public for the support, but asking for privacy as they grappled with the loss of their beautiful girl. Just a short time later, her best friend, Holly Bowles, also lost her fight. Two lives, full of potential, snuffed out because a bar wanted to save a few dollars on their liquor bill. If you think this only happens in Laos, think again. This is a global, fake alcohol industry that is worth billions. The T here is that this happens in Bali, in Mexico, in Thailand, and in parts of Europe. Distillers will use methanol because it's a byproduct of poor fermentation or a cheap additive that packs a punch. It's often found in buckets, those famous Southeast Asian mixed drinks, or in bottles of local vodka that don't have a proper seal. For the people selling it, it's a high-profit margin. For the person drinking it, it's Russian roulette. So, how do you stay safe? Because, after this case, the rules for international travel have completely changed. First and foremost, never ever accept free shots from a hostel or a street vendor. If you didn't see the bottle opened in front of you, don't touch it. Stick to bottled beers or canned drinks where the seal is intact. Avoid the buckets at all costs, no matter how cheap they are. And most importantly, if you or a friend start feeling unusually sick or notice your vision becoming cloudy after a night out, get to a major hospital immediately. Do not try to sleep it off. The legacy of Bianca and Holly isn't just this tragedy. It's the lives they will save by being the warning the world finally listened to. The Vang Vieng poisoning is a dark chapter in the history of backpacking. It has forced a massive crackdown on local vendors and a total re-evaluation of how travel safety is communicated to young people. As the investigation into the supply chain continues, we can only hope that justice is served for the families of Bianca, Holly, and the other victims who went looking for adventure and found a nightmare instead. We have to keep talking about this because the moment we stop, the regulators get lazy and the poisoners get bold again. Our hearts go out to the Jones and Bowles families. They've shown incredible strength in the face of an unimaginable loss. Let's make sure their story stays at the forefront of the conversation so that no other 19-year-old has to pay the ultimate price for a hospitality gesture. Stay vigilant, look out for your friends, and never take your safety for granted when you're far from home.